Innocent civilians massacred. Prisoners tortured. Acts that shocked the civilized world. All discovered by ABC News online, not from the usual ISIS accounts, but on social media sites connected to elite units of the Iraqi army, the very forces the U.S. is counting on to help stop such atrocities. Here, a group of men in Iraqi army uniforms give a sign of approval after a civilian is beheaded behind them. In this video, a young boy, a suspected ISIS recruit, is about to be executed, shot dead in the street, with men in what appear to be Iraqi uniforms crowding around the scene. This appears to be an insignia of the Iraqi Special Forces.
What we're seeing here is a brazen, proud display of these terrible crimes.
There are dozens of such videos and still images now being investigated by U.S. and Iraqi authorities to determine if they are in fact part of the Iraqi army. Like these men with a severed head, or these men dragging the body of a captured prisoner. In this video, what appears to be two unarmed Iraqi civilians are about to be murdered, like the others already dead next to them. This video, slowed down, shows militia fighters with U.S.-supplied weapons. This freeze frame catches a soldier with what experts say is another insignia for the Special Forces, witnessing without stopping what is about to happen. The prisoners say they are just villagers, not ISIS. As he begs for his life, he is asked, "Did you see them? Did you see them?" We won't show the horrifying close-ups, but after a few minutes, the two civilians are shot and killed anyway. And then the other men open fire on the pile of bodies. We showed some of the photos and videos to retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel James Gravilis, who helped to train the Iraqi counter-terror forces. So you think this is Iraqi Special Forces?
Absolutely.
What do you say about that, having helped set up this very group?
Oh, I think it's horrible. You don't behead someone and place their head on the front of your Humvee. That's unacceptable.
Because?
It's a war crime. It's an atrocity. It's demeaning. It shows that they have no respect for human beings or human life. It's barbaric. That's why. This is a failure. This is an absolute failure of our security policy for Iraq.
The U.S. strategy against ISIS depends heavily on the Iraqi army, now being trained by American soldiers and provided with $1.5 billion in U.S. weapons and equipment. Under American law, credible evidence about gross violations of human rights by any security force of a foreign country requires the U.S. to cut off aid. It's called the Leahy Law, written by Senator Patrick Leahy, who examined ABC's photo file.
These go beyond any sense of humanity. They're just total, complete, inexcusable atrocities.
He says what he saw in those photos should trigger the law.
I would say that involves the Leahy Law, and I'd argue that we should be withholding money. It's a pretty clear-cut case.
The Iraqi army says the photos and video could be ISIS propaganda to make its soldiers look bad, that the uniforms and patches can be bought in the market. But when we showed some of what we found to Iraqi army spokesperson General Saad Maan, he promised a full investigation.
As me, as Iraqi people, as a fighter, as a policeman, do not accept any bad behavior like this. We will investigate these pictures. We'll make our decision about it.
In Washington today, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Martin Dempsey, told senators he was concerned about possible war crimes from the militias taking the fight to ISIS, along with the Iraqi army.
What we are watching carefully is whether the militias, they call themselves the Popular Mobilization Forces, whether when they recapture lost territory, whether they engage in acts of retribution and ethnic cleansing.
But what Dempsey did not say is that the U.S. is also closely watching the Iraqi army for war crimes. In fact, in a statement to ABC News, the Pentagon says in the last 6 months, it already has withheld assistance from certain Iraqi units on the basis of credible information in the past. The barbarity of ISIS has been condemned around the world, and there is little sympathy about what happens to them on the battlefield.
From the images that we're seeing, it's very hard for an Iraqi civilian to tell who's the good guy and who's the bad guy.
Human rights activists, along with U.S. government officials, say if Iraqi forces and militias are are seen as behaving no differently than ISIS, the effort against the terror group is doomed to failure.
It's bad strategy for Iraq to think it could win a war and win the peace with these kinds of atrocities. And it's folly for the U.S. government to think that it will regain stability and security in Iraq when the forces fighting in alliance with the U.S. are carrying out these unbelievable atrocities.
Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.